Hi there, Aquarius. Sorry about that. The phone code right there. It was like, yeah, we're not ready yet. So, let me put those two cards back. It was the Eight of Pentacles and the Mother of Swords. Now, let's get a few more cards out. We'll pull one for each of the days here for you and see here what may be coming through as a focus. For you, maybe there was something you were really waiting on. Daughter Cups. Now, this is something that has been building. I'm hearing this way, Four Cups. Someone's like, I can't wait. Now, this is right in the beginning of June. We see June 5th, June 6th specifically. We have the Four Cups reversed, Tower bright. Someone's like, I'm going to talk to them about it. I'm hearing that. Maybe it's a decision someone makes. The High Priest, when you deal with the Pisces, no questions asked. No questions even like pondered. Mother of Swords. Upright, okay, and the Temperance, the Tower card, I'm hearing Temperance is in the center of the spread. So it could be something that maybe you've been building on, waiting, you've been having visions, even dreams. You're like, oh, when am I going to do it? When am I going to say it? How am I going to do it if I do? I'm hearing if I do. Here's a Hermit at the base of the Tower for a number of you. It's something you've been contemplating, like, is it the right timing? I'm hearing that Ace of Swords upright at the base of that. Yep, absolutely. You're going to say it. You're going to do it, Aquarius. You're coming through this, baby. This is about the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 would be Ace of Swords upright. Something becomes really obvious, really clear. Three of Pentacles in reverse at the base of the Mother of Swords upright. For me, it's a decision to officially get involved in some space. Maybe even to associate with some space officially. Four of Pentacles at the base of Three of Wands. For me, this has to do with your career. Something about your ambition. Five Pentacles just fall on the ground right there. You're forgetting. I'm hearing like what in the past like defied the space of what you felt to be your absolute value. And the Hierophant here, I'm hearing the value that you hold also in this environment. I'm hearing this industry as well. Now, Hierophant here at the base of the Judgment card in reverse, it's clear in the heart chakra. There's some pressure here when it comes to presenting this space possibly, like on an emotional level. Someone felt maybe that there was a little bit of like, well, I don't know. They're like, I don't know if I'm ready. This is like a matter of maturity. Ace of Wands, things just coming through. It's like, okay, that's it. I'm on stage. They open the curtain. I think we're going to call it out. Son of Pentacles with the Six of Cups in reverse. Now, for a number of you, this is something very significant. Before I saw the Six of Cups, I felt like, oh my gosh, it's very significant. For a number of you, there's something that is of an emotional nature that you feel very sacredly, okay, you are to address. And it's like, to say at least that it's sacred, the moon here as well, the base Six of Cups. And every time you sort of like, well, I don't say every time, but like, when you think about even like addressing that space, it's kind of, I'm hearing like it's awkward. I'm hearing it can easily be misunderstood. The Father Swords at the base of the Four of Pentacles, the Hierophant, the Fool here as well, at the base of the Father Cups, and the Ace of Wands. So for a number of you, maybe you're like, well, I want to come out with it, but like, Ten of Cups here in reverse in the theme. The Sun just fell on my lap. You have the Ace of Cups on my stomach, on my womb, sacral chakra area. It's like somebody possibly wants to come out with something, and it is something that they've been wanting to do for quite some time. I'm here in 2017 here with the Seven of Swords, and the Father wants, for a number of you, somebody maybe even wants to make a reappearance in some way. You know, we are in a heavy retrograde season, right? We've got 5, 6 planets retrograde, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, all in retrograde right now. There's a lot here that's coming up for review. Things from the past that are like not yet completed, we can say in a certain way, possibly in some way. For a number of you, this has to do with something that is even a soul contract that you feel it's time, I gotta do it. I'm hearing something's up. I'm hearing that as well, and I need to be the one to like bring it up. So maybe for a number of you feel like it's up to you. Maybe for a number of you feel like it's kind of weird though. It's like on the spot. I don't know. It's like, where did this come from? Like I wasn't expecting this. But you lead out with the Moon and the Ace of Wands, which is interesting because Ace of Wands is very directive energy, right? The Moon is kind of like, well, it's everything and it's nothing. It's all a matter of what you ultimately perceive it as. Kind of an illusion of an energy here with the Moon that we see with the Six of Cups in reverse and the Sun of Pentacles. Someone maybe feels a little intimidated. They're like, okay, this is kind of overwhelming. I'm hearing that like specifically, and I'm feeling pressure in the heart chakra. Now, this is someone you know for a number of you, okay? And it's like you've been waiting for the moment to maybe kind of like broadcast. I'm hearing your connection to them in some way. You're like, well, I want to come out with this and say like, this is how I feel. And so possibly for a number of you, there was a really strong focus on the environment, possibly a really strong focus on the space of interpretation of that ideal that maybe you hold in some way. And it's interesting, I'm getting this sort of energy very similar to, I think it was the Libra reading, even Taurus. It was like, you know, this feeling of like, when I come out with this and I like call it that, I run the risk of it like potentially being like misinterpreted. So for number two, you want to kind of like avoid at all costs is what I'm getting the feeling of. Like I really want to avoid there being like any potential like misinterpretation of this space. But what's interesting, that could be energy of another. For a number of you, be dealing with a Gemini specifically. I'm hearing they got like a few patterns. I'm hearing to the personality. I'm not sure what that's linked to, the way that they work. Son of Wands. Oh, someone feels like someone is waiting for them to present something. Son of Cups reversed, right over the Son of Wands, right over the Six of Cups. So for a number of you, you feel like this is a past, even like there's a past to this space. There's a history. There's a connection that you want to speak also on behalf of. I'm here for a number of you, you feel like there's no point in like also pretending to not see it, to not feel it for a number of you. And it gets to the point where you want to just come out with it already. I'm here like in this way. Like you want to call it what you feel it to be. There we go. Lovers here with the Dawn of Wands. You, for any of you dealing with the Gemini, no question. Those are the lovers associated with Gemini and the Major God. Let's clear that. Nine of Cups as well. I'm hearing I'm tired of acting like I don't know. Also, that there are tires on the car and that I want to get moving with this connection. I'm hearing that with the Five of Cups right with the Nine of Cups. I'm hearing we need to get really honest here. Let's clear that. It's the strength card leading you out. This came through in the Sag reading as well as the Leo. I highly recommend if you feel guided to watch those readings if you do feel guided. The strength card here is actually in tandem with the Two of Swords, and that's sitting right over the Moon. So for whenever there's a decision someone's making and it is awkward, okay? I'm hearing like in this way. Yeah, it's gonna be weird. That's fine though. I'm hearing it for a number of you. I don't know. This is gonna make everything seem like really, really weird. I'm hearing like a block party. I don't know, that some people were invited to and others were not. I have no idea what those ones do. It's like someone making something very clear in a certain even community. They're like, I would just want to come out and say this. I need to say this. I'm hearing that like specifically. And I'm hearing the letter he. I'm hearing the letter he. Okay. He. I'm not sure what that's going to. The Emperor here. It could be a mantra for a number of you, but for a number of you, it's like you wanna say something like really clearly, and it's to the point where you're like, look, it's gonna be awkward. I'm here to like, again, possibly for everybody, where you feel, you know, whatever it is that I present, it's going to invert certain conversations maybe that were had in the past, and let it be. If I really feel this way, if this is what I'm feeling and this is what has been building, let me at least like acknowledge that. And even if that, you know, acknowledges that I was silent about it in the past, so let it be. I'm hearing that like as well. For a number of you, maybe you actually have this connection with someone that is just so serendipitous that you feel it's ridiculous. I'm hearing at a certain point to consider it as like, I'm hearing all or nothing at all. Like, I don't know what. Maybe for you feel like it's inevitable even. You're like, no matter what. Like, and at a certain point, maybe you don't want to call it that. You're like really reluctant to like come out and be like, hey, this is what I call it. This is how I feel about it. Da, 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 da. And maybe for a number of you, it's to that point though where you feel, you know, it's at the end of the day, my feeling. And it's my circumstance that I operate through. It's my perspective of it as well. And if some people, I'm hearing, will have a prejudice towards it, so be it. I'm hearing in that way. If they have something to say about it, cool. Everyone has a perspective at the end of the day. How far and how closely I read into their reaction is actually a matter of my own, I'm hearing self-control. I'm hearing allowing myself to do that. So for a number of you, I'm hearing you really want to make something clear for the sake of making it clear for yourself. And maybe it gets to the point where like it could be, let's backtrack, unexpected, where it's like you run into someone and you're like, it would be weird at this point not to say something. It would be really weird at this point to say like, hey, JK, like, you know, to go back and forth. I'm seeing somebody even like maybe the dynamic where they say I love you and they say I was just joking. I don't know what. Let's clear that. Let's backtrack. It's like there's a point where it becomes kind of a problem. I'm hearing actually more so if, and maybe they feel that way. They're like, it's more of an issue if I create all of the, I'm hearing colored crayons, I'm hearing the box around the color that I actually want to color with, and that's more awkward. I'm hearing like in that way. It's very interesting. I'm seeing there's like a color that somebody wants to like, they want to use. I don't know. They're just like, they put all these other, they're acknowledging every other color in the coloring box other than the one that they actually want to use. Is like, that's ridiculous. Like, I'm hearing that, like, specifically, Eight of Cups. Like, so maybe for a number of you, somebody maybe feels, like, weird in the space of not addressing what they really like, as well. Okay? They're like, yeah, alright. Okay, kind of thing. Now, give me a quick second here, Aquarius. Yeah, for no reason there's even a dynamic that is just, it's getting kind of silly. I'm hearing it as well this way. Like, it's getting kind of, it's like a feeling space that is like also maybe as you might feel it, it's reaching a point where maybe it's just like unexpected, like we were just seeing each other like in this incognito mode way, and then all of a sudden we both kind of like came out on stage at the same time, and we were like, oh wow, hello, you're here too. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. But it's like something like maybe like that. Even I'm seeing the kind of feeling in that Sag reading. There's a Sag, Pisces and Scorpio, where it's like two people are stalking each other, and then like they're both caught stalking each other at the same time, and it's like, okay, no point in like saying we're not interested now. I'm here like in that way. So something like that maybe, or there's something just serendipitous that just makes it like, you know, impossible in a certain way, like not to address possibly, where it's just like, now we have to like address this. We have to come forth with what it is that we also can see as at least as potential. So for another, maybe somebody wants to present something in a certain way and communicate even their perspective in this space. For a number of you though, it's someone wanting to admit something. I'm hearing it as well in the way, like at least of the potential. So they're like, look, it would be like more disadvantageous to not even address that I feel like there could be potential. So for an maybe it's a little bit of a thing of vulnerability. Like I would rather say that, hey, I'm like interested rather than give the impression that I'm not interested and lose on the opportunity of like potentially having talked at least about what that potential really maybe even is. So let's clear that. For maybe this is maybe even a collaborative space. Maybe someone wants to partner up with someone. It could even be in terms of like something, a creative project, and it's like, I want to say like, hey, maybe there is like some kind of potential there. Thank you for tuning in, Aquarius. Always takes you on. I'll see you soon. Bye.